In August of 2010, a strange image surfaced online. It's a screenshot of the game Minecraft. The image is mostly normal except for one thing: a lone figure in the distance, hidden in the fog. He has the default skin, but with pale, empty eyes, watching us from afar. This is Herobrine. We know that because this image also contains an explanation written by an anonymous player. It tells of their encounter with this entity in a single-player world. The author noticed the figure in the fog, but couldn't catch them. As they played more, they found odd structures in their game: 2x2 tunnels in the rocks, perfect pyramids of sand in the ocean, groves of trees missing leaves. They did some research and discovered that other people had seen this mysterious player. His name is Herobrine, and he's the dead brother of Notch, the creator of Minecraft. Most people think that this image here is the origin of Herobrine, but that's only partially true. Recently discovered evidence has revealed that there's so much more to the story. The history of Herobrine is complicated and rich, not just one image appearing from the void. Tonight, we're going to take the most comprehensive deep dive into Herobrine's origin to date. We'll find that Herobrine didn't exist in isolation. Instead, the story was a logical culmination of a slow and steady progression. Herobrine is far deeper and more interesting than it initially seems. The history of Herobrine is deeply intertwined with the history of Minecraft itself. The foundations go all the way back to the earliest builds of the game. On May 13, 2009, a programmer known as Notch posts a video of a coding project he's developing. It is so new that it doesn't yet have a name. The title is Cave Game Tech Test. Little does anyone know that this will one day evolve into the best-selling game of all time. But even these first versions set the stage for Herobrine, albeit in a slightly weird way. For the blocky game worlds are not empty. Instead, they contain default-skinned mobs that spawn naturally. Their creepiness is a distinctly different flavor than that of Herobrine. In a certain sense, though, there's a conceptual similarity: humanoid mobs elsewhere in the world. In these early days, Minecraft is an obscure game. Most discussions about it take place on an internet relay chat, or IRC for short. It is here that we can learn the thoughts of some of Minecraft's initial players. Within these logs is the first known reference to creepy white eyes in Minecraft. On January 29, 2010, a user named Zombuster makes a couple of comments. "The white-eyed one is creepy. Their white eyes staring into your soul." These messages are referring to a new Steve variation that was just added to the game. Unlike the blocky surroundings, these characters are rounded and detailed. While they're not quite scary, they certainly feel stylistically out of place. Apparently, Notch agrees. Just 2 days later, all human mobs would be permanently removed from Minecraft. The player is the only one that remains in the world. A common refrain of the early Minecraft community is suggestions. Since the game is in active development, any proposal has a chance to be seen by Notch and eventually added to the game. A notable example of this comes during the same week. A few users are discussing mobs with Notch when a person named Lick3 suggests the following. "I could see it now. Someone wanders into pitch darkness, hears breathing, turns around to see these glowing eyes looking at them before dying instantly." To the best of my knowledge, this is the first ever reference to creepy glowing eyes in Minecraft, a tiny step in the direction of Herobrine. It's also notable because the eyes are accompanied by an unsettling breathing sound. This serves as a bit of foreshadowing, as we'll see soon enough. Apparently, Notch likes the idea of glowing eyes. About a week later, he adds them to the game. However, they're not human eyes. Instead, it's the gaze of the spiders that is now visible in the dark. Another place where early players discuss Minecraft is the Minecraft forum. Much like IRC, it's common to see suggestions for the game. While most aren't memorable, there are a few that are worth a brief mention. On February 26, 2010, a user suggests a mob that is disguised as another player. The next day sees an idea for a craftable guard mob that has the default player skin. A related idea is the doppelganger mob, which would copy the skin of a player on the server. All of these suggest a return to humanoid mobs in the world, despite their recent removal. There is, however, one mob that's different. It's written by a user named Coalhouse. "Shadow ethers will watch you from the darkness. You can tell when a shadow ether is near because all you see is their eyes. They make whispering sounds as they watch as well. Their eyes are scary, watching, intense, and unnerving." This suggestion is noteworthy for a few reasons. First, it's another reference to scary glowing eyes in Minecraft as first suggested by Lick3. However, there's a key difference. While Lick3's mob attacks the player as soon as it sees the eyes, Coalhouse's mob stalks the player, watching them from afar. It's afraid of light and will only attack when it's the darkest. Its eyes scary, watching, intense, and unnerving. The concept of a stalker mob is an important one, and it will return soon. But first, a different type of development. To this point, all the posts we've discussed are suggestions, ideas for future additions to Minecraft. But on April 30th, 2010, something changes. On a thread called Minecraft is Scary, a user named McGruber posts the first ever story about glowing eyes in Minecraft. Spelunking down a seemingly endless cave system. Lost 2 pounds after turning a corner and getting jumped by God, those glowing eyes, why? I killed it and laughed, not knowing the hell I was entering. I took the wrong tunnel out and only went deeper. Woe unto me, for I sustained myself through scavenging mushrooms and fleeing. Always fleeing those glowing red eyes. Strip mines for me from now on, thank you very much. This user is clearly talking about the glowing eyes of spiders. On the same thread, there's another story, this time about being startled by a default skin player standing in the dark. Oh, also, multiplayer is scary. You're just building something and then you spot a shadow moving across your window. Then you turn around and there stands a black man, default skin. That scared me once. While this story is referring to multiplayer, it isn't long until there's a suggestion for a humanoid mob that stalks you in single player. Stalker, a human model. These guys hide or peer around objects, or in some cases even peer through windows if you have any. A different user builds upon this idea a few replies later. I don't know, I still like psychological horror. More subtle, makes you question reality. Could be an absolute mind monster. Red eyes everywhere? 2 replies later. I would love to see those dark people that hide behind trees with eyes. Ooh, that would be so cool. They could be like humanoids but fairly smaller, 8/10 of normal size, and would be able to open up doors. By this point, we were clearly flirting with many Herobrine-like ideas. We have a mob that looks like a player but with glowing red eyes. This mob stalks us, watching from the distance. It also affects our game world, albeit non-destructively, opening and closing doors. While these comments are merely suggestions, they're moving in a uniquely creepy direction, suggesting humanoid entities that stalk the player, their eyes watching them. Minecraft is already considered by many to be a creepy game. The dense fog and dark lighting creates an unsettling atmosphere. These suggestions build upon this idea, maybe there could be someone else hidden in the mist. And yet, this inherent creepiness is about to be multiplied. On July 7th, 2010, something new will be added to the game, an addition that will change the feeling of Minecraft forever: cave sounds. Background ambiance in Minecraft had been requested for a while. There was actually a good YouTube mockup about 2 weeks before the release of cave sounds. The audio in this video is natural, dripping water and whooshing wind. The official cave ambiance is, well, not that. Let's take a listen. It's difficult to overstate the impact that these sounds have on the atmosphere of the game. Previously, players only had to fear physical threats, creeper explosions, lava pools, spider ambushes. But the cave sounds are different. They represent threats unseen, dangers beyond our understanding. Who made that breathing noise right behind us? Is there hidden machinery within the caves? What horrible monster was that? Is there someone out there? The new cave sounds play perfectly into a feeling that is common at this time, the fear of the unknown. In 2010, Minecraft doesn't have the huge popularity it would later attain. There are no update announcement videos, no developer interviews, no hype cycle. Instead, Minecraft is still the passion project of a single developer. There are new updates all the time, occasionally as often as 3 in a single day. Whenever you open up Minecraft, there's a decent chance that something has changed since your last session. There are always new things you don't know about, slight adjustments, hidden items, novel threats to avoid. Players don't yet deeply understand this game, it's still inherently mysterious. But with the addition of cave sounds, this mystery is supercharged. The player response is dramatic. The Minecraft forums are quickly saturated with endless stories of unsettled players. Oh, I heard that screeching. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is turning into more of a survival horror game. Yeah, I heard the sound, which turns out to be Cave 8, and had to log out for the day. That is not an okay thing to do to someone who just fell down a hole into a dark section of cave. Minecraft, without a doubt, is the scariest game I have ever played. Judging by its line of progress, I think it will be the scariest game I will ever play. I could actually feel the change of fluid in my body as adrenaline rushed to my legs. I have chills now. Chills. Dear Notch, I need new pants after the latest update. I appear to have soiled the ones I am currently wearing due to the new ambient cave noises. They were vigorously frightening. Thread is for babies. Put your diapers back up. Oh shit. These new sounds scare the out of me, and I love it. I was tunneling through some caves and came into an opening just in time to hear a huge, which made me jump out of my pants. This looks like a job for Mute. There are far too many stories like this to list them all. One thing, however, is abundantly clear. The cave sounds have shoved Minecraft sharply in an unsettling direction. In this thread, a player suggests the addition of a mob whose entire purpose is to scare you. Maybe a monster with dead black eyes that follows you in caves. Fears of the cave sounds would be elevated just 2 days later with a new development, a gameplay video entitled Minecraft Cave Dweller Sighting Number 1. Let's watch it together. Did you see it? I didn't when I first watched this. But if we head to the comments section, we find an intriguing observation. Pause it exactly 1 minute and look to the left of the gravel pile. You see a whitish shadow in it. Look again a few seconds later and it's empty. It's exactly at 1 minute in the cave in the distance. 58 to 101, you can see something in a small cave in the background, then nothing at 102. Pause it at 20 till 22, there's something behind the waterfall. Is that it? To be honest, I still don't see what they're talking about. It seems to me that the figure in the distance is just a hole in the cave, the same for the being behind the waterfall. And yet, whether anything exists or not, there are now many people who believe that there's actually a figure. And that belief is important. This video represents a significant escalation. For the first time, we have raw gameplay footage of a mysterious being. It's as real as it's ever been, and the cave sounds played a crucial role. As rumors of a humanoid entity within Minecraft slowly spread, stories describing paranormal moments begin to appear much more frequently. One notable example is by a user named Blue Shadows, who tells the story of Jackson's mine. Well, there was something. Early on in my days of InfDev, there was a big cave not too far from my base. I explored it vaguely for a while. It seemed like a typical cave, just some coal and a few blocks of iron. After a while, I noticed a big hole in a place I hadn't really lit up with torches. I fell down it. It seemed way deeper than should be possible to naturally form in Minecraft. Once I reached the bottom, with a big chunk out of my health, I figured I might as well explore and mine a little while I was down here. So I did. It was pretty filled with iron, which I needed at that time, but not much else. Here's the creepy part. It never ended, and I could never find that hole back to the main cavern. Many of the torches I planted seemed to disappear on their own, and I got hopelessly lost. Eventually, I dug up to the surface, freaked out. Eventually, I did go back in, vowing to remember how to get back, but I couldn't find it later. Even more tunnels were there this time, and it took many hours to find my way back. I dumped lava down the entrance and sealed it up. Never have gone back, never will. It's called Jackson's Mine. The entity in the world isn't just watching. Now it's actively affecting it while the player is present, breaking torches off the wall, digging new tunnels for the player to get lost in. This being operates independently. We merely stumble across evidence of its modifications, and embedded within is just a hint of malice. It's intentionally making our life slightly more difficult. A later story contains a new wrinkle, a seemingly infinite 4x4 tunnel with the entity sealing the entrance. A different user reports stumbling across the default player's skin beneath the surface. We had these deep underground passages that crisscrossed at the bottom of the world, and I was down there in one of our outer passages, and I saw a default player model go around the far corner, and I sprinted ahead and looked down the passage, and no one was there. I asked my friend if he had been down in the passages, and he said no. Still further, a user reports seeing faint objects in the distance, strange ghostly faces in the corner of my vision that disappear the moment I look at them. They also mention hearing the ambient cave noises. These stories are feeling increasingly similar to Herobrine. Players are now reporting seeing other humans in their game, or at least evidence of their activity in the world. There's no indication that these reports will die off anytime soon. And yet, there is still another substantial change that will further stoke these fears. On July 30th, 2010, Notch releases the 7th Secret Friday update. Included within is a jukebox as well as 2 discs to play on it. The first is entitled Cat. It's a bubbly synthesizer track that's peaceful and charming. Then there's the other disc entitled 13. This one is, well, let's just take a listen. In many ways, Disc 13 doesn't feel like music at all. It might be more accurately described as an extended cave sound. However, it's more than just that. In this disc, we hear things happening in the distance, huge explosions reverberating through the caves. A player splashing in the water. Skeletons firing arrows. Evidence of some independent being in the world, someone or something other than ourselves. Disc 13 isn't an obscure hidden sound file, and it's not a fanfiction. No, it's one of just 2 music discs in the game. For many players, this was the very first thing they ever heard on a Minecraft jukebox. It is therefore no surprise that Disc 13 has an immediate impact on the Minecraft community. On July 31st, 2010 at 1:01 a.m., a user named I Am a Hedgehog posts the first known story about the disc. It's called 13.ogg, a work of fiction, and it describes a player who discovers the item. Just 17 minutes later, a user named Kerchak uploads a YouTube video containing the Disc 13 audio. The background is a screenshot of a dark cave. It seems pretty normal, except for one thing. Deep within the blackness are 2 white pixels. The meaning of this is unmistakable. Those are a pair of white eyes watching us. In an interview conducted in 2023, the video's creator explained that these pixels were deliberately placed, although they did not remember the specific reason. Whatever their intentions, this decision would prove to be a critical step in the progression towards Herobrine. Later that same day, a user replies with a different story, this one copied from an anonymous author on 4chan's video games board. The text is quite long, clocking in at about 3,000 words. The author describes being plagued by strange occurrences in their cave, including vanishing torches and whispering sounds. This forces them to abandon it. Later, the player discovers a different cave and fears that it might connect to the original. There's a dead end with a complete 3x3 square of rock, like it was put there as a seal. As they explore, the author encounters a dungeon with a mysterious block and black disc. The text contains a link to the 13.ogg YouTube video. The player is soon haunted by the sight of ominous white eyes. I get into the cave, begin slowly going towards the pit, making sure I use my torches efficiently. I hear a ghoulish laugh behind me. I turn to the pitch black, and 2 white eyes were there. Looking at me, I freeze. I can't move. I'm locked into a staring contest with the eyes. I hear whispers from all around me telling me to go closer. I can't. I must resist. Some consider this story to be the most substantial Herobrine precursor. While prior stories contained isolated concepts of a stalking mob, this post combined it into a cohesive narrative structure. A user named Endorphin would build upon this story the next day. The post also links to the YouTube video. It is entitled, "I Cannot Take It Anymore." Jesus Christ. I can't do it. I can't take it anymore. I can't go back home. I can't go into my mines. I can't do anything anymore but slowly try and build something under the frozen ocean. And it's all because of 2 little pixels. 2 pixels. 2 white pixels. I haven't even seen them myself except in screenshots. I know it's there though, waiting in the mines, watching me from my tower's balcony while I'm outside. I can't see it through the constant snowfall, but I know it's there, and I know it can see me. The white eyes myth surrounding ambient noises. It started a couple of weeks ago after a Secret Friday update. Some people started reporting seeing a pair of white pixels whenever an underground ambient noise was triggered. I figured it was just a bug or something, maybe even some way he did it to trigger the sounds themselves. I didn't hear much more about it for a while. Then all of a sudden, recently I've been seeing reported sightings everywhere and a supposed screenshot of them. This is the picture. I can't even bear to let it load. I had to do a quick tab, copy, and close before I saw those eyes again. Those eyes. Jesus Christ. Endorphin's story is notable because it ascribes a name to this entity, White Eyes. We later discover that White Eyes is female. A different user claims that they've also seen White Eyes, and then a second and a third. However, there are a fair share of detractors, such as a user who loudly proclaims, This is not imagination. This is idiocy. But it doesn't matter, the flame is lit. One reason for the spread is that White Eyes is similar to a common graphical bug in which white pixels are seen on the edges of blocks. References to White Eyes begin to show up outside of this post. On the internet relay chat, a user suggests that Notch add the white-eyed monsters. Then a few days later, we find a different forum post called White Eyes. This one is notable because it apparently contains a screenshot of the being. Unfortunately, this image has been lost to time. The same fate befell a handful of fan art images of the creature. Some comments remain, however, and they suggest that White Eyes looks like a creepy mechanical skeleton spider. If that's true, then it's noteworthy that White Eyes is a descendant of the very first glowing-eyed monster, the spider. Mentions of White Eyes are most common during early August 2010. But on August 19th, something interesting occurs. A user sends a tweet asking Notch a question. Notch, someone made a story about your brother, Herobrine. You remember him, right? You should totally add him to Minecraft. This is the oldest archived reference to Herobrine. No one has found an earlier mention. And yet, it seems pretty clear that this user didn't come up with Herobrine themselves. They read a story that someone wrote. The detail that Herobrine is Notch's brother suggests that this is the same story that we know today. And we're left to ask an important question. When was the original story made? Because the tweet references it, we can be pretty sure that the original was written sometime before August 19th, 2010 at 3:46 p.m. But we'll need to keep searching for the original. The earliest known archive of the story itself can be found on a creepypasta blog posted on August 22nd, 2010. This post further supports the idea that the original story came earlier. First, the included images are substantially lower quality, indicating that they are re-uploaded. The second piece of evidence is much more subtle. It turns out that the story on the blog is slightly different than the one on the image. I was able to find 13 discrepancies between the two. None of these are major. Instead, there are slight adjustments and fixes. replacing an incorrect comma with a semicolon, fixing an uncapitalized proper adjective, correcting a misspelled word. In my view, these changes clearly represent an attempt by the blog author to improve the original story, furthering the idea that there's still an earlier version to find. We can narrow the window of possibilities. The screenshot indicates that it was taken in Alpha 1.0.1602, released on August 13, 2010. We have strong reason to believe that the story was released before the tweet and the blog post. Thus, we are left with about a week of time when it could have been posted. Even now in 2024, we still don't know who wrote the original text and when. And unless an earlier reference is found, anyone who comes forward claiming to be the author will have no way to prove it. Any evidence they could provide could be easily falsified. While the specific origin is unknown, we do know that it was seen by a streamer named Copeland. They decided to stage a hoax. Sometime between August 13th and August 30th, they sent an image of their world to their stream chat. In the doorway, we see the figure, watching us from afar. Then, on August 30th, 2010, at 9:34 AM, Copeland starts a new live stream. Let's watch a bit together.
Okay, hi. So, I'm blue screening and deathing all over the place. Really? Like, I lost all my farming?
The stream begins normally. Copeland is playing Minecraft and he's in a voice chat with his friends. We see him constructing a path in glorious 240p. The first notable moment occurs about 4 minutes in.
Why am I the default skin? Oh god! It's been happening the past 2 days. No, it's because of him! Oh god, now he's taking control of my keyboard! Ah! Or not.
It's because of him? Copeland is apparently responding to a message in the chat. He suggests that whoever this being is can control his keyboard. Or maybe not. The next notable moment occurs about 13 minutes in.
I haven't seen any 2x1 tunnels.
No, it's
Thank God.
Wiki's been slow today.
Copeland says he has not seen any 2x1 tunnels, which could potentially be a misremembered reference to the 2x2 tunnels in the Herobrine story. It isn't long until we hear more about this mysterious him.
I'm gonna put a picture in the screen in the chat and you're gonna look at it.
Cause I am f***ing terrified of him.
Yeah. Brewcraft.
That may be an idea.
We just call him him.
Oh well.
I'm loading up Minecraft. I've just been calling it him.
Then Copeland references the image he shared.
Also, I saw ghosts. I'm scared of Minecraft now.
Wait, what? I'm sure it wouldn't have to do anything with the fact that you were drunk. Just saying.
No, it was like at 8 AM in the morning when I was completely sober. I saw ghosts in one of my screenshots.
Mm-hmm. Completely sober.
It's right there in the screenshot.
His friends are understandably skeptical, but Copeland continues to insist.
Right, where's the link to this picture? I want to see it. Oh, is it up there?
It's been posted in chat a bunch of times. It's screenshot with 3 T's. There's the one Trout just posted.
What the f***?
I told you!
Single player or multiplayer?
Single player.
What?
Mm-hmm.
The f***?
Yeah, that totally couldn't be.
His friends react with confusion.
Why do you have no skin?
Cause he keeps changing my skin back to the regular skin. Don't you guys?
Who's
him? Him! He is him! Ah!
Cope's finding
Oh
It was that that Warcraft, man.
That made me jump!
Wait, what? What happened? What?
He was in the room!
I'm done playing Minecraft!
To a viewer in 2010, this stream was huge. We didn't just have vague suggestions of a stalking mob. We didn't just have stories recounting it. We didn't just have a screenshot of it. Now we had a live reaction of someone finding them in their world in real time. Herobrine wasn't just a story, he was finally real. Until very recently, this stream was lost media, but on July 15th, 2024, it was finally found. There's something truly special about experiencing it just as the players experienced it in 2010. It's an important piece of Minecraft history. Less than 10 minutes after the end of his stream, Copeland makes a post on the Minecraft forum. He calls it Video Proof of Him. It contains a link to the recording we just watched. And with that, there's nothing that can stop the spread of the Herobrine story. The community response is huge. While some correctly identify it as a prank, there's a substantial group who believes that this is legitimate. Minecraft finally has its signature urban legend. The slow progression of creepy concepts has culminated. The Herobrine story quickly achieves what its precursors had only hinted at: widespread knowledge. Never mind that Notch confirms that Herobrine is a hoax on the very same day as the stream. On the internet relay chat, he says, "Haha, that is fake. There's no wide-eyed, creepy-eyed mob like that, but I should totally add one now." In fact, Copeland would later admit that he faked it by retexturing a painting to look like Herobrine. But Notch's rebuttal does little to slow Herobrine's spread. Around this time, Copeland posts a link in his chat to the website ghostinthestream.net/him.html. It contains an image of Steve, but with creepy, realistic eyes. Beneath is a large chunk of jumbled text. Decoding this is straightforward. All we need to do is remove the symbols. It yields the following. It has been reported that some victims of torture during the act would retreat into a fantasy world from which they could not wake up. In this catatonic state, the victim lived in the world just like their normal one, except they weren't being tortured. The only way they realized they needed to wake up was a note they found in their fantasy world. It would tell them about their condition and tell them to wake up. Even then, it would often take months until they were to discard their fantasy world and please wake up. The following day, Herobrine is cited on a different livestream, this one by a user named Patamus. It's another one that was lost media for a long time. Let's watch a bit of it.
I'm just gonna say this now, guys. If he's still down there, I'm not streaming at all. I'm done.
Did I miss it again?
No,
Go in there.
Sneak up behind him, Patamus.
no.
Go in.
No.
Apparently, Patamus was later heard telling his wife that this was fake, although there's nothing more than anecdotal evidence for this. But of course, it doesn't matter. Patamus is just another in what would prove to be a very long line of Herobrine fakes. And, well, the rest is history. The story of Herobrine had cemented itself permanently in Minecraft lore. It was referenced in mods, such as one that contained a shrine that would summon him.
Also, kein Hotkey oder so. Oh, und das ist Herobrine.
There were countless YouTube videos that claimed to have Herobrine sightings.
Oh, wieso machst du das? What the? Entweder will mich ver... Oh.
Use a diamond.
He got so popular that there began to be references from Mojang. The changelog in almost every major update has a line that says removed Herobrine. This is still true as of 2024. Herobrine has also made an appearance in many official pieces of media, usually in the background, watching from afar. Herobrine influences Minecraft media in other ways too. Perhaps none is as direct as its profound impact on Minecraft ARGs. Many of the ones I've covered on this channel have Herobrine as an obvious inspiration. Strange beings invading single-player worlds is a core element of the genre. The Alpha 1.0.16 version's ARG built upon this very idea. The name is a reference to the version where Herobrine was first found. The idea exists in Mark 101 in a very different way, and the fear of being watched is a core tenet of Minewatch. For Minecraft ARG specifically, Herobrine was extremely important, and I'm excited to see how he continues to affect the future. As I mentioned in the introduction, there was a long period of time when most people thought that the Herobrine story emerged from the void, a sudden idea that came from nowhere. However, the reality is far more complex. Herobrine is the sum of a multitude of concepts that predate it. One of the first major discoveries was by a YouTuber named Ossiflao. They were the first to identify the importance of white eyes. This video is really just an extension of that, searching for the growth and development of ideas that may have ultimately contributed to Herobrine. I believe that my video paints the most complete picture to date of this context. Even so, I am certain that there are things I missed, earlier stories, different ideas. For example, I didn't seriously discuss influences outside of the Minecraft sphere, choosing instead to focus on Minecraft-specific developments. There's a lot of room for the history I presented to be refined. This video is by no means definitive. Instead, it's a building block for others to use, just as I built upon Ossiflao's ideas. There are more pieces to the puzzle out there. Let's find them together. If you're interested in this, I encourage you to join the RetroGamingNow Discord server. It's a great place to discuss my videos, and I'm really excited to see what all of you came up with. Also, if you enjoy my content, join as a Deep Diver channel member. It's a great way to support me directly. You'll get a few perks, such as a special Discord channel and behind-the-scenes insights. Of course, I'll also put your name in each of my videos. Thank you so much to the current Deep Divers. We will go ahead and end with that. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.